found it. Found the way back. In there. All right, not nice and wadded. But here it is. It is our 18-year wedding anniversary, and in honor of it, I'm going to be doing this makeup look. And I'll also be giving some tips and some stories along the way. So, sit on back, relax, have a laugh, and I hope you enjoy this video. So some people do a special preservation of their dress and put it in a special box. Yeah, not me. I just jammed it in the bag it came in and then jammed it in the bottom of my closet where it's been for the past 18 years. So, I am trying this on for the first time since the day of my wedding.
No! I want you to do it. I said I could do it. Stop! I never.
Zip it up.
Let me zip it up.
Zip up. Yeah, I think that's zip up.
Wait, no.
Okay. Molly, hold the sides. Hold it like this.
Mom's not gonna zip up.
Yeah, I think that's zip up. Sorry. So first step is you want a primer that's gonna lock in that makeup all day long. So the story begins back in 2000 when I was a freshman in college and I came home on spring break. Now I loved coming home because I had a wonderful mother that would do all my laundry. So I would save it up. And when I ran out, I'd come home and she would do it all for me. And not only that, it was the only time I would get a home-cooked meal. Because normally I would just make ramen noodles every day. So message to my kids, your mama ain't doing your laundry. So in today's look, I'm going to be using the Morphe 35C palette. And I'm going to be doing these light purple colors to match the hydrangeas that were the flowers in my wedding. So when I was home, we went to church and I went to a Sunday school class that was for the college and career age. And that is where I met two brothers. The older brother had a comment or an answer to everything the teacher said and was just chatty. And then the younger brother seemed to be shy, quiet, and didn't say a single word. So I never spoke to either of them and went our separate ways, and a couple months passed and I came back home, probably because I was out of clothes again and was starving for some nice home-cooked food. And so I went to church again, and this time the older brother wasn't there and the younger one named Josh was there. And this time Josh was chatty and took his brother's spot and just kept rambling and rambling on. And in one of his ramblings, he talked about this college and career Bible study. And I was like, that might be a good opportunity to meet a guy. So after church, I went up to Josh and I introduced myself and I told him I was interested in going to this Bible study. And he, of course, was thinking, wow, this girl is beautiful. I'd like to date her someday. And sadly, I did not think the same. I thought he was kind of geeky. He had these big old glasses that were bent on his face. And so I was thinking, What hot guys are going to be there? So a week passes and it's time for this Bible study, and it's at this little church, and the Bible study is in the basement. So I show up and go in the basement, and I don't see a single face I know. Josh isn't there. So all these chairs are in a circle. So I go across to the farthest chair and I sit in that, and I'm just sitting there waiting, feeling so uncomfortable. And finally Josh shows up and he sits on the complete opposite side of the room as me. And one gal said, "Hey Josh, aren't you gonna sit by your friend?" But that night I quickly realized he wasn't so geeky after all, and he wasn't such a bad guy. And we basically became best friends and inseparable. So we ended up dating a couple years, and then one day when I was at my parents' house, Josh picked me up and told me that we were going to go somewhere for a surprise. Now I quickly realized that we were heading to a camp. Now a year before that, we went to this camp, and there's many walking trails in the woods. And on one of the trails, we found a tree, and we carved our initials in the tree, and we called it our tree. So we get to this camp, and Josh is acting really weird and really awkward, and I could tell he was hiding something in his pocket. And every time I tried to walk on that side, he would try to pull me over, and he'd only let me walk on the opposite side of him. I was like, what is he doing? Why is he being so weird? And he said that our mission was to find our tree. Now the problem was there was a lot of trails, and it had been a year. So neither of us could fully remember where our tree was. Now, I thought I had an idea, and Josh thought he had an idea. And of course, our ideas were completely different. So we began to argue and kind of fight because neither of us thought that we were wrong. Well, in the end, let me just tell you, I was right. Woohoo! So you want to choose a foundation that does not have sunscreen in it. Sunscreen can have flashback when you're doing pictures. And so on your big day, you don't want any flashback on your face. So you also want to use a foundation that you've been wearing for a while. That way you know how it performs. You don't want to be wearing a foundation that doesn't handle well if you sweat, or you don't want to find out on your wedding day that it oxidizes and you turn orange. So definitely test it out for a good month to a few weeks to make sure it's going to look good. So then we get to our tree, and Josh gets down on one knee and asks me to marry him. Now, I probably first was like, I was right, I found the tree, I knew where it was. But I said yes. So I've always wondered what would have happened if we never found our tree. Would he have still proposed? I don't know. But I guess it was meant to be. And it was a good thing I knew where the tree was. Now I'm moving on to concealer. And if you feel like you're going to be crying during your wedding, I would suggest finding a waterproof concealer. Because if you don't, the concealer has a chance of basically coming off when your tears are running down your face. And you don't want that. So then the day of the wedding came, and it felt like it was there. We blinked, and then it was over. So then when it was time for the reception and to cut the cake, the question came, to smash or not to smash? And we went with smash, a full-blown smash in the face. Now on to eyeliner. And again, if you're going to cry, or you might have a slight chance of crying, make sure you have waterproof eyeliner. So then when everything was over and it was time to leave out in our car, the one request that Josh wanted was that people throw birdseed. Now the problem was we tied the bags too tight. So a lot of people couldn't get the bags open. So what they did was just chuck the whole entire bag of birdseed at our bodies. And let me tell you, it hurt. So because we were getting bombed with these bags of birdseed, Josh dove into the car, leaving me out there to fend for myself as I was trying to run around and waddle in my big heavy dress to the other side of the car and then struggle to get in. Now on to mascara. And yes, I'm going to use 3 different mascaras. And again, can't stress this enough. Waterproof. Again, if you're a crier or there's any chance, make sure it's waterproof. You don't want black running down your face on your wedding day. So then when we were on our way to our honeymoon, we had a 14-hour car ride. Now, back 18 years ago, we did not have smartphones. Josh had a Nextel and I had a flip phone. So we did not have Google Maps or any kind of maps on our phone to direct us the way we're going. We had the good old-fashioned paper maps, and I was the co-pilot that was to direct the way. Oh, let me tell you, it is awful trying to read a map, especially when the road wise or there's 5 lanes of traffic and then you got to get off on a ramp, and I have to try and tell Josh split second which way to go, and let's just say I did not do a very good job. So my other problem is I fall asleep in car rides. So usually within a half an hour to hour, I'm out. And so when Josh needs me to give direction and read that paper map, there I am with my mouth gaping open and drooling. So now onto bronzer. This is going to give some life to your face and some color and give some dimension. So to summarize our wedding, these are the things that I remember the most. The first is when I got my hair done, my hairstylist was the most grumpiest lady ever and was not friendly. And then we had my future mother-in-law drama that Josh had to deal with. Now, she never really liked me. She always thought I was lazy. So Josh had to tell her, either you're going to gain a daughter-in-law or you're going to lose a son. Now on to highlight. The tip that I wanted to give for the highlight is either don't put any on your nose or go very light. I was going to not put any on my nose, but I forgot. So if you do that, just take a brush with a little powder and plop it on there. The reason for that is you don't want your nose glowing bright in all your pictures. So another thing that I remember is Josh had a groom's cake, and he requested this cake to be chocolate with chocolate frosting, and he didn't get a single piece. And then our cake was supposed to have stairs coming from both sides of the main cake down to 2 side cakes, and those stairs were forgotten, so they were missing. And then, of course, getting hit with the birdseed bombs. Now onto the lips. I'm going to do a nice soft pink lip with a touch of lip gloss to make those lips shine. So even though the only memories I seem to remember are the negative ones, I am so happy to be married to Josh. I truly am blessed. Now on to the very last step, setting spray. I would highly suggest picking out a good spray that's gonna lock that makeup in and not make it budge. Well, thank you for watching my video, and happy anniversary to my wonderful husband of 18 years. Thank you for supporting me in my YouTube channel. And as always, have a blessed day. Remember, Jesus loves you, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.